day to my listeners. Welcome to Is Your Way in Your Way? And I'm your host, Cassandra Crawley Mayo. And for some of you, Is Your Way in Your Way is my debut book. My debut book is titled Is Your Way in Your Way? And this call for individuals who are not familiar, or my new listeners, this call is for individuals who are ready to move forward in their lives, but they're feeling stuck, overcoming obstacles, needing to mitigate those self-imposed barriers that's preventing you from moving forward, like that negative self-talk and procrastination and self-sabotage and all of those things that's preventing you from moving forward and living your best life on your terms. And we talk about topics related to business and personal development, and also give you an opportunity to do some self-reflection. So today, I'm very excited about this topic. It's called Everything is Energy. Want to work with yours? Is the question. Would you like to work with your energy? So who do I bring to the stage? Is Fran Bailey. And we are going to, for first of all, welcome, Fran. Thanks for coming on my show. I'm so appreciative of that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And as my listeners are aware that, first of all, I'm going to read her bio. And then after that, then we're going to get into our conversation. We're going to have some dialogue here. Okay. So Fran Bailey's extensive training in dancing combined with energy healing has evolved into a simple method for evolving the mind, the body, the heart, and the soul. Since 2002, Fran has channeled her passion in the Sheva method, and that stands for Seeking Harmony and Energy Voice in Action. This process resets your system to restore with practical techniques to live more consciously through energetic awareness. She is thrilled to share this work used in years of client consultation and emergence to offer clarity, distinction, and balance. And she is an author as well, the author of a book titled Emergence. Emergence. So to get started, Fran, I'd like to know, and my listeners always like to know, what was your backstory until you became an energy healer? What were you doing before that?
Well, it's sort of a history of, I was a modern dancer.
Mhm.
I grew up in a very metaphysical home, and lots of music and dance. My dad sang, my mom danced, and just very positive upbringing. And I loved music, and I loved movement. I loved the fact that I could express myself through my body.
Mm.
And I started at a very young age and just went with it. And it just did something for me. I think because when you dance and when you listen to music and when you're on stage, you have to know about energy. You have to know where you are in space. And so that was always a thrill for me. And, then I was very spiritual growing up. I had a near-death experience.
Mm.
So I think the metaphysical and the spiritual and the understanding about movement in the body, studying the anatomy because I majored in dance.
Okay.
Was very clear about physical. Is that a child?
No, it's my fur baby.
Oh.
And he is locked up, but he's getting loud for some reason because I think he wants to come in, but he can't.
Oh, he can't. Okay.
No.
My animals. I work with animals. My animals work with my patients, so I know. Anyway, so I think, in a nutshell, I just love dance, and then somebody that I taught at the Montessori school, and he was a parent and he was a doctor from South Africa, and said that you can see energy. And I went, okay, what's that? And I began training with a woman he trained with out of California, Rosalind, is a medical intuitive. And that's how I learned how to put energy into my hands, like my feet. And so I learned the body, and, my intuition increased. And so I did that for 12 years. And basically worked with ADD kids. I worked at an Infinity Center, which is working with therapists there.
Yeah.
So it was a combination of the learning energy, of course, movement, dance, deep meditation. Did that for 15 years, teaching meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, my father died of cancer when I was in my 40s. And, you know, the body responds. The body doesn't lie. It will respond to this. And so a year after he died, I got cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I had cervical cancer.
Yeah.
And you let him in.
No. I'm so sorry. He is acting very rude.
Oh wow. So anyway, so that's kind of where the Sheva method began. I understood how to heal myself, kill the cancer cell, and that was sort of the impetus of if I can do this, a lot of people can do this. At least have the wherewithal to understand that there is some self-healing out there.
Right. So let me ask you, what is energy healing? Like energy work.
Energy work. Okay. Well, everything is energy.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has a chakra system. And I work in the chakra system. That's the chakra system in the center of the body. There's 7 what I call psychic centers, and that's from the Hindu perspective. So when a chakra is off, the body's off. That's what I study. I do that with body work or energy work or healing work. So if you're sensitive to energy, then you begin to read and study about energy. Then you understand that everything is energy. Okay. And if there's a negative energy, or if there's a pull on the body that's not assisting the body in a healthy way, then we look at that and try to change that energy.
Mm-hmm. Does that have anything to do with, sometimes when people meet you, or when people just meet and people say, I love their energy, they have really positive energy. Is that the same or different?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that we all instinctually can read energy and know it. Some just, when you meet someone, your aura, your energy field meets the other person's field. And so there's that frequency that is around us all the time. We each have that frequency. So that frequency, if it matches, like, wow, okay, I get this person. And then there's somebody that's just totally different, and that doesn't work, and we just pass by because it's just not happening, not working.
Right.
So the more you know about energy, the more you understand it, the more you can study it, the more you can study people. You can understand that person probably would not work with me, or I can see the energy being courted to another person. Or they're courted to a negative thought.
Wow.
So I can look at that attachment and say, there's the attachment. Now, if you pull the attachment away, let that negative thought go, then the energy shifts.
Okay. Well, this is new for me. I've heard of energy and chakra.
Yeah.
And my listeners probably is new to them, but this was interesting to me because this is the work you do. When something is different for people, like different modalities, it's kind of like woo woo, that kind of thing. Like, what's going on with her? How do you overcome that, or have you run into people like that you wanted to work with? And they were like, I don't know if I want to do this because I'm uncertain about what this is. Do you run into that? And if so, how do you handle that?
Well, that's a good question, because I think I think people are becoming more aware and more conscious because there's so much out there.
Yeah.
Number one, I really do. I really believe that we are all on this kind of conscious path. So I don't fear that as much anymore. It's really a science.
Mm-hmm.
It's really physics. And I just happen to have an ability to do that, to read.
Mm.
But at the same time, understand that it's really simple.
Mm. Okay.
It's really, really simple. And, you know, like for instance, I have a client right now. Somebody told him about me. And he was quite afraid to come see me because
Mm-hmm.
I said, but okay, well, let's talk on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Let's figure out what you need. Right? And I said, well, you probably need 3 sessions. You don't have to, but you probably need 3 so we can kind of knock this out and figure out what is really where the issue is, what is in your way, basically.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So I can look at it energetically and say, okay, let's look at these reasons. Let's mentally look at it. Let's physically look at it, and emotionally and spiritually look at the resistance.
Okay. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's about resistance. So he feels stuck. And I said, okay, well, let's look at all the scenarios and let's go back a little bit and see where that energy could be stuck.
Okay.
And I only suggest it if they might be ready. I don't suggest it otherwise.
Oh, okay.
Because it has to be a duality.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask that. Yeah, because they'll resist it and you can feel it and it just doesn't work. Okay.
Right. And so I'm very careful. Energetically, someone may not be ready until the second session or the end of the first. One cue will be one word that resonates with them or one analogy. And sometimes it's not what I'm saying, it's actually the energy in which I'm putting into the words. I know that sounds really odd, but it's like an ingredient. Let's say you're making a casserole and you're adding certain spices and something it makes it great.
Right.
That's when they resonate.
Okay. Okay. Now, what do you work with certain professions or who do you work with?
I work a lot of doctors.
Okay.
Here. And I work with therapists, a lot of psychologists. They need a lot of clearing to stay grounded, stay present. I work with athletes, football players, dancers. For instance, a modern dancer, Bill T. Jones, is a very famous dancer in New York. He came to Cincinnati and one of the dancers fell. And I saw her fall.
Oh.
She was up, standing on this guy's shoulders.
Wow.
And she flipped and fell on her head.
Gosh.
Yeah. And someone suggested that she come see me the next day. And I said, well, yes, this is going to take about 2 hours if you want to come. And she's a professional dancer, So what I could tell right away, the emotions that were running around her because someone had just left the company. In companies, lots of drama happens. So there was a lot of emotion around the injury. And in order for the emotion to be released, she was crying. And then I could get in and move the energy in the neck so that she could release some of this sorrow.
But she was hurt too, right? I mean, she fell, she was hurt. So
I'm doing 2 things at once. Yeah, I'm doing 2 things at once.
Okay.
And she may and so what happens if there's an emotional disturbance? She may not have been present in the performance. That means emotionally she was maybe upset and wasn't focused on what she was doing.
Okay.
So it's that kind of analogy.
Okay.
So we worked 2 hours. She felt so much better. She performed the next night and was grateful.
Wow.
She's a testimonial on my website.
So
it just depends. Football players have bad injuries, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I work on those guys. I've worked, and they've also danced with me in ballet.
Okay.
So it's kind of a combination of a lot of different things. But yeah, the doctors they don't get a lot of help.
What do you mean?
I mean, they don't get a lot of relief as far as what they do.
Okay.
Who's their healer? Who do they do?
Yeah, same as a therapist, I would think, because I'm like,
yeah, very similar. Very similar. Yeah.
Well, what about individuals that are stuck? And I talked about that, like my audience and my clients. You know, I say we want to kind of mitigate things so that they can start living their best life. What do you think they you know, like they maybe want to write a book, or they want to start a business, or they want to change jobs, but they just can't do it. What is that about, you think? Something in their body, it could be a number of things.
Yes, I think that it's interesting. I did a reading many years ago and happened to find the CD.
Yeah.
And listen to it, you know. And that was many years ago. That was like 10 years ago. So I was observing myself in resistance. And I think the biggest thing is that either one, other people's energy are in your space, so you can't.
Okay.
So there's guilt and shame that you want to move on, that you're being held back. You know, moving out of your own way is part of letting go. So there's letting go. And then opening that door, and it may be dark, but jumping. Decide to make that move will give you freedom. So my practicing, like going up those steps and opening that door and looking out there, maybe not jumping, but actually looking and seeing what it feels like. Seeing what it feels like to just jump.
Okay.
See what it feels like to be free.
Yeah.
In your own creativity. Oh my God, that would be marvelous.
Yeah, it's like heaven, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like a child has no fear, just say anything, do anything, not afraid. They're afraid of things, but they're just childlike, you know. So yeah, so that's when you said that, it made me think of that.
Yeah. Same kind of, you know, you have to play with it and just have fun with it. Say, okay, well, let's just test ourselves. And how do I feel? What does it feel like when I let go? Do I want more of that?
But that's fear. That's fear. So how do you deal with that? Because a lot of things we all have fear, but to some extent it's just off the chain, I call it. Because fear can stop you as well.
Well, the chain is the fear.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The chain is the fear. The chain is holding you back.
Right. Okay.
So if you just play with the idea of unraveling it, like you have an image of yourself and say, let's just unravel that cord or whatever you want to call it, and just sit in my energy where I am now. What makes me happy? What matters the most to me? How do I really love myself?
But you have that experience years of experience in that. And for my listeners, they don't. So let's say, so when it's like that and you're resisting, I like that word because that's exactly what it all is resisting. How does that have a lot to do with the chakra and the, because you said when the chakra is, and I don't know a lot about it, when it's off, that means your body's off or something that's going on that's off, and you're able to feel what that is because it's, is it like a blockage?
Yeah. So every chakra has a meaning. Every center has a meaning.
Mm-hmm.
First chakra is the base of the spine. It's fight or flight, fear. Second chakra is pubic bone to belly button. That's creativity, emotions, boundaries, sexuality. Third is belly button to breastbone. That's your stomach. That's the ego. That's the self-talk.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth is the heart, love, self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Always, everything comes back to the heart. Always, everything.
Okay. Okay.
Fifth is communication. So you're speaking authentically through the heart to speak with an authentic voice.
Mm-hmm.
The intuition, clairvoyance. And that's integrating all these centers. The seventh is source.
Right. Okay.
So all information goes through each center every hour and a half. Any information that you're giving. So this is a system. This is a system that works through the body.
Mm-hmm.
If I look at the third and someone's in resistance or someone is, they're super ego and they're arrogant or whatever, they think that they have to do it this way, they should do, and they
Right.
need to do it because somebody told them, and then they're not doing it right, then they have self-esteem issues and they have concern and worry, I can never do it. Then that negative energy shuts down the third chakra.
Okay. Okay.
So you want to say to yourself, okay, I want my authentic voice to come forward. I want to know what I'm really feeling. Mm-hmm. I'm going to let go of the should, have tos, and oughts and look at this avenue or this road in which I want to take without anybody telling me right or wrong. I'm just want to experience that. Okay. And that's how you start.
Okay. So, so obviously you're very intuitive, and so you're able to, based on the chakra and the healing that you're doing, you're able to identify which chakra is out of line, and then you work on getting it back in line. Do you work on it with your hands, with your mind?
Well, it depends on the client. I mean, usually the biggest, and I can do online, the biggest work, I usually do 3 sessions, and you really get a full gamut of what it is that I do.
Okay.
And that will set you on your road.
Mm-hmm.
This is a road for you. What I do is facilitate and give you information. You make the decision.
Okay.
So it's your decision. I'm assisting you in finding the love in yourself.
Okay. Okay.
So that you can carry on with the purpose.
Okay. All right.
So that your life will have meaning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what we're here for.
Right. Okay. You mentioned in the beginning of the show about you healing yourself that you had cancer and you healed yourself. When I thought about that, I'm like, well, you should be. So many people have that disease, have cancer, and if they knew that you did it, wouldn't you think that other individuals will want you to help heal them?
Oh, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
So Wait, go ahead. Ask me what.
Yeah, I was thinking, people don't know what they don't know. So the world doesn't know who Fran Bailey is. So just say, I mean, you're over in Ohio, the Cleveland Hospital, the clinic, the Cincinnati, if those individuals were aware, and there's so many people that have cancer, um, it seemed like they would reach out to you, or individuals that are aware, do they reach out to you? But as you indicated, they have to be open to whatever. They can't resist it. And then perhaps you've had individuals that had cancer or some other ailment or something that you weren't able to heal, and perhaps you weren't able to heal because they weren't open to it. So I know I'm all over the place, but I'm just like, okay, if you healed yourself, man, you should be on the national news, and
Well,
that's a possibility.
It's interesting working with doctors, MDs, who are alternative doctors as well. I mean, they certainly understand the system, and the system is changing quite a bit. There are so many more alternative ways to focus on whatever you're dealing with. We know our bodies best.
Yes.
That's number one. So when someone works with me, I ask them, what are you noticing? What are you observing? What are you feeling? What are you knowing? What are you hearing? What are you smelling? What is it what you're just getting to the point of observing your body intelligence? What is it telling you? I mean, I can go in and, I've had patients that didn't make it, and I knew that they wouldn't, but I helped them carry them to the light. We all experience life and death at the same time. The spiritual world is present with us all the time. So someone who is, I've had quite a few women who have had breast cancer, and they've had to take everything out and everything, and so they would come see me before, during, after, and often the most important thing is that we all have cancer cells. You don't fear cancer, you befriend it. You say, okay, there's a hiccup here. This is an interim in my life. This is a portion of time that I have to spend focusing on me. The cancer isn't going to be senior. I am. So it doesn't matter. You're still whole. You still have a spiritual world. You still have connection with the authentic self. You still have love. If you work with the body and let the body do its job, that's a different thought.
Yeah. Okay.
Because this instrument is amazing. If I can go in and kill cancer cells, well, I was seeing a doctor at the same time, and go in and shrink the cell. Don't explode the cell, but shrink the cell, and realize that I'm not going to have any guilt or shame that this is happening.
So having that kind of stops it, or resisted because when shame and I should have, I look at that as judgment. You're judging yourself. Okay.
Right. That is a nasty energy.
Okay. All right. I was reading that I'm curious about your psychic abilities or intuition. Are you trained to be that, or is it an innate gift, or
Yeah, I would say that it's a natural gift. I had
Okay.
it as a child.
Okay.
Of course, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Um, but I would hear things or see things or just know things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, having a near death experience, when I
Mm-hmm.
left my body, they said, "You're not ready." And I went back into my body like an umbilical cord. You jump back into your body, and something happened then. I think
Okay.
when you have those experiences, those are very spiritual experiences. Those are
Okay.
like,
Okay.
so, I think that obviously I've trained and honed in on the skill, but I was always at 12, it hit me. At 19, I found these
Mm-hmm.
meditations. They wanted to come in and, what is this? I'm a little freaked out. And then in my 20s, same thing. And then in my 40s, they found me.
Mm. Okay.
There was no turning back.
No turning back.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
did. I had to open that door and jump, and
Okay.
started training. Deep meditation, finding out about my abilities, bringing them on board, knowing that everybody thought I was a little crazy,
Yeah. Sure.
but I'm not. As somebody said, "You're the most grounded. You're as old as dirt, and you're the most grounded healer I've ever known." So you have to use humor. And
Yeah.
sometimes I see these things, like I see somebody having an accident the next day, and I'll tell them, "Don't do that."
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now it just comes up. I don't know when, I don't know. But if I don't think that they'll believe me, I won't say anything.
Exactly. Exactly. Let me ask you this. Um, Uncovering one's full potential. Um, we all have gifts,
Hmm.
and I believe that we are all here for a reason. To have we have meaning to our lives, but a lot of people may not feel that way. But because I know that I am working in my gift, and I have this passion, and mine is empowering women to start living their best life on their terms. You
Hmm.
know, I wouldn't want anyone to transition and feel like, wow, I should have done this, I should have done that. You hear that all the time, and I'd like to prevent or mitigate that with a lot of women.
Hmm.
Um, so, what would be your methodology, or your roadmap for uncovering a full potential, someone's full potential?
The roadmap would be, first of all, have an agreement with yourself.
Okay.
Have an agreement that you want to go down this path, and that no one will pull you off it.
Mm-hmm.
Trust your
Mm-hmm.
instinct, your intuition, that first voice, not
Mm-hmm.
the doubting voice, the first voice.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Understand that emotionally, physically, spiritually, psychologically, you've got to be, all of us have to be on board. This is
Mm-hmm.
what I teach. So you can go to my website, download a meditation at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important thing, if you have to be in sync with all those parts of you,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can use all the aspects that you are developing, and you pull from each one to find
Mm-hmm.
the authentic purpose.
Mm-hmm. So, would you call that a mindset?
I would
Would
call
you?
that a mindset. I would call that a daily routine,
Okay.
a daily awareness, a daily observation. I'm just finished my um, Sheva introduction method online course, and that's a really good start.
Okay.
to, because it teaches you sort of the full picture of, why we're here. What can you hone in on? Finding that center, finding yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about chakras and meditation and clearing. And there's meditation there's body work on there. There's, the body responds. The body doesn't lie. It will respond. The idea of being observant, the observer of yourself, is part of the equation of going forward.
Mm-hmm.
There's Enneagram, which is part of the last bit of the Sheva method, which is the study of personalities. The mind, the body, and the heart. And that is sort of the last thing that the method started to really pick off.
Okay.
That was designed by a Russian in the late 1800s who studied movement all over the world in different cultures.
Okay.
And decided that we are really all one.
Mm-hmm.
Some tend to navigate through the head, some navigate through the heart, some navigate through the body.
Okay.
Energetically, someone is always in the head, and worried and concerned, and ask 1,000 questions, and can't get past their own thinking. And, they have. That's the resistance. I will ask them what they think they are thinking.
If they think
what they what they think they are feeling, because they're going to go to the head first. They're not going to go here.
Okay. Okay.
So what holds us back are our personality patterns. And that's the other twist.
Mm-hmm.
That helps unfold and get out of the way. That's what it does. You get out of your own way in order to find you.
Okay.
So, I mean, what happens with these sessions is if you work with me, I can how do I say this? I can energetically read your energy and find what and where would be the resistance to the step that you want to take, the next step that you want to take. First state the step, then look at the resistance, then move out of your own way to find the step going forward. So that's a heart, we're going to the heart of the matter, so to speak.
Right.
So when we are human, we go around it. We don't go to it. We go avoid. The stress level, the stress takes us out of that other place, but ultimately you're going to come back to here.
You're right. Okay.
Why not just go there?
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's like a process, but like I said, people don't know what they don't know, and you know the methodology, you know the science of it, and that's why I like doing podcasts, because this right here people will realize that there are other modalities that can support what it is that they're doing. And you said once they know what it is, and they automatically go back to the heart. But once they know, it's their responsibility to do something with what they know. It's kind of like you're not a magician. you can't change it, but that awareness gets into your conscious, and when you're aware of it, you can have an aha moment,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps, and that can enable you to pivot or
Right.
trigger something in you to do something different. That's what
Absolutely.
that's what I'm getting out of this.
Right. Because
Okay.
it has to come from you because it will stay.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's
Oh,
you making those shifts, not me. You know, I mean,
it's
interesting. My daughter, my kids grew up with all this, so would have
yeah.
people in and out of the house, and so they're pretty aware. And but I really let them go. I said, you find your own path. But I thought this
Mhm.
was interesting. What my daughter said, I'm working. I'm in nutrition. I'm doing healing stuff, but and I work out and I go to the mountains but nothing seems to be working. I said, right. Why? You have to stop. And you've got to go right to the core of what it is. You need time alone.
Mm.
You need quiet to
Mhm.
figure out what is going on.
Mhm.
Start sifting, taking the noodles away. I don't know, just
Right.
clear so you can find that what is happening.
Right. Right.
So
And
this,
isn't it important though, Fran, to, I always say, watch your surroundings,
yeah,
your friends, your sphere of influence, because they can impact your energy.
absolutely.
They can deplete your energy. And that's why I always say, you have a personal, I call it a board of directors with my clients, which can include accountability partner, a finance
Right,
person, somebody to keep it real
right.
or whatever. But well, I sense if there's something there that's like, and I just say, well, that's not good for me. That's not working for me. And I wanted to say that because I want my listeners to know it's important who you're around, who you spend your time with, because that can either uh, it can make you or break you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's just practice. We were all human. I've certainly had people suck me dry because, ooh, there's a healer, I'm going to take
Right.
her. Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
times?
Yeah.
So, yes, you have to have boundaries.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely. And that's what I teach as well. At least share the possibility of you experiencing boundaries because
Right.
then you can find yourself quicker.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not out there with that other person's energy trying to figure out their problems because they're depending on you and et cetera,
Mm-hmm.
et cetera. You can even find yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Okay.
when it's like, mm-mm, mm-mm,
Okay.
you gotta come home.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard people say you have to come home to self, and I was like, what does that mean? You know, uh, I one of my therapists used to tell me you have to come home to self, and I was so perplexed. Like, what are you talking about? Come home to self, and I actually um, meditated on that for a while. Like what does that mean? And even though I kind of know, but I can't articulate it. But I get it, like come back, come home to self, know
Mm-hmm.
thyself, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There,
um
oh,
I'm curious, are you on any medication?
me,
Yeah.
vitamins,
Okay.
vitamins, and some hormonal stuff. Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious because you're a healer, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, you don't, because of that, then you're not on anything. So that's why I was curious, because a lot of us are taking high blood pressure and
Oh,
this
yeah.
and
No, I don't have that. I don't have
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But I think the hormones are a huge factor.
yes,
I
they are.
really believe that. And I see a wonderful person, she checks all the time. And, so I think I take a lot of vitamins to support that.
Mhm. Okay.
Um, I've been doing this studying for years. I have had some gut issues and
Right.
found a great product that helps me. It's just,
Okay. I was curious.
yeah.
Well, Fran, I have enjoyed this conversation, and I could talk all day about this because I'm a very curious individual, and I just wanted you to share any words of, and instead of calling it nuggets, I want to call yours diamonds that you can provide for my listeners that will enable them, support them, trigger them to get out of their way and do whatever their dreams or goals are, and something stopping them, to help them get out of their way and do what it is that they're being called to do.
Well, I wrote this book, Emergence.
Uh-huh.
And part of this process of this book is it studies the chakra system and meditation and where the resistance might be. And what I do is I have a person hold the book, and in their hands, they're running energy in the book. I mean, it's full of colors and it's beautiful,
Yeah.
quotes and things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some energy in this book, in my book. And then I'm going to open a page, and usually the page is probably the gift that's needed.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to open this up. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. That's for me.
Okay. Read that one more time for
I
me.
will. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it.
That's good. I like that.
Good.
Perfect. So my listeners out there, you've heard that. That was what I call a diamond, not a nugget this time, that you need to grasp and understand and be open to what that meant in regards to the barriers that you're having to seek the barriers rather than the love. And I also want you, my listeners, if there is something, and I know it is, that was said by Fran and doing this conversation, or I say this dialogue, that you feel that would be a blessing to someone else, please share it, because this will be on every podcast platform as well as all my social media platforms. And as I say to you all, I never say goodbye. I always say bye for now. And thank you for listening, and enjoy, and God bless. Thank you so much, Fran, for what you've done.
Thank you. Thank you.